part 2 of 2. I was talking about how to switch from being the pawn to being the player in your tech career, and how most people think, 80-90% of people think, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, I'll upgrade my tech career. I'll have a great tech career. I'll have the confidence to do this when I see it. When I see it happening. And that's backwards. It's about believing it first, believing that you have the confidence, believing that you have everything that you need, and having all the support systems in place, which, by the way, means actually having all the support systems in place to do it. And then you say, all right, let's do this. And then we move forward. So if there's one shift to make in the beginning, it's about believing. And I know that that sounds overused. It sounds too simplistic. It sounds too, well, get to the good stuff, Jen. I know I need to believe, right? Okay, I believe, whatever, move on. But if there's like an inkling of that in you, then I definitely encourage you to pause this video right now, go back to part 1. That's why there's a part 1. That's why that happened. That's why my internet connection went off, because there's some of you that are going to want to go back to part 1 and listen to that again. So the first shift is you have to believe that you absolutely can be that player who has an influence over what happens in your career. Because if you don't do that, then it's game over. And if you don't really grok that, and thank you to a few people lately who have introduced me to that new wonderful word, grok, look it up, it's wonderful. I love it. My life's mission is to grok as much stuff as I possibly can. It's to deeply, truly, in your bones, in your heart, understand something. So if you're just like, oh, yeah, sure, I need to believe it, listen to part 1 again, right? It really needs to start from, okay, I believe that I can do this. I know that I have everything in place right now. All the support, all the internal confidence, all the external support, in order to make this happen, in order to be the player in my career, the one who moves the pieces, the ones who gets it done, the one who gets the promotion, who creates that, the one who creates those conversations, the one who moves the conversation forward. That belief has to be so freaking strong that it is like unshakable, because trust me, things are going to happen that are going to test that belief. Like, you're going to try to talk to your boss more about getting that promotion. Like, you can go in, okay, yeah, I believe I can do it. I believe I can do it. Okay, I'm going to create this conversation with my boss. Okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to schedule a one-on-one with him, and he's going to say yes. And you try to schedule a one-on-one with your boss, and he's like, oh man, no, we have a meeting scheduled next week. Like, can it wait? Like, I'm busy. Or you put it on his calendar and he accepts it, and then he like cancels it an hour before. That's going to test your belief that what you're doing is actually working. It's going to, because you're going to be like, oh man, I'm not really sure if I am the creator in my career. I'm not really sure if I am the player in my career, because I'm at the whims of senior leadership. I'm at the whims of my boss. Or if you're on the job market, I'm at the whims of whether or not recruiters reach out to me, or whether or not there's jobs available in the area where I live. There's just so many different ways that you're going to get tested on that fundamental belief that I am the creator. I am the player in my career. I get to make my career happen for me. It has to be unshakable. And if you don't have the support, if you feel like you don't have that rock solid certainty there, then it's time to book a call with us so that we can help you gain that certainty and give you the support so that you have that rock solid mindset of, I can do this. I know I can, without a shadow of a doubt. So if you're not there yet, that's cool. Everybody is on this path in a different place. And what's cool is that you're recognizing I'm not there yet. That's awesome. So if you're not there yet, book a call with us. So the link is thepeoplestack.com/book. So that's one reason to book a call with us. But kind of getting on. So that's like the first shift. It's all about having that belief. And then from that belief, it's really having this sense of, what does this mean for me? Like, exactly what does it mean for me in my specific situation to be the player instead of the pawn? So really getting clear with yourself on where are the times when I show up as a pawn. Like, exactly. Where are the times when I'm showing up as a pawn? And watch the video from Monday if you want some ideas on where that might show up. And I talked about one earlier in part 1 of today's video as well. But look, if you want to achieve transformation, transformation happens in the specific. It does not happen in the general. So yes, we're all here. We're here to help you, and you're here to achieve career transformation as a technical manager. But every single one of you has different breakthroughs to make, has different distinctions to add to your stack of distinctions, has different aha moments that need to happen before that transformation can actually happen. And they're different for everyone. They're different for everyone for lots of different reasons, because we're all on this path in a different place in terms of building our confidence, in terms of, really knowing our strengths, really knowing our weaknesses, knowing ourselves. Also different in terms of the context, where some of us are earlier in our career. Some of you are earlier in your career. Some of you are later in your career. Some of you live in big cities. Some of you live in small, middle of nowhere towns, and you're proud of it. So transformation happens in the specific. So this is step 2, is to get specific, right? Step 1 is to believe that you absolutely will be the player. And step 2 is to get specific. Where are the places where you've been the pawn? And then what happens after that is, okay, I have this clarity around where are the places that I've been the pawn. And then step 3 is to shift, is to start to shift from pawn to player in those specific areas. So just as an example, to kind of use an example that I was using a little bit earlier about having conversations with your boss about a promotion that might be coming up, or that that is coming up. So with that, you might say, yeah, you know what? That's fair. I've been playing the pawn a little bit there. No longer. I am going to make sure that I go and intentionally have more meetings with my boss so that I can get him to advocate for me and support me for this promotion that I'm going after. So step 1 is I can do this. I know I can. Step 2 is here's one area, and I really encourage you to come up with at least 5 to 10 areas where you're acting like a pawn in your career, like specific areas, like specific conversations you're not having, specific relationships, specific approaches that you're taking or not taking. So here I'm not having regular meetings with my boss, and I'm not regularly having conversations around promotions. Then step 3 is the shift is how do I, this is the strategic shift, right? How do I then begin to have these conversations? And you figure that out, and you figure out a plan for yourself on how to do this. So those are essentially the 3 steps from shifting from pawn to player. First one, believe you can do it. Have a rock solid belief, because you're going to get tested on that belief over and over and over again. Step 2 is get specific. Exactly what areas in your career are you acting like a pawn? Be honest with yourself. And then step 3 is the strategic shift. What needs to happen in those specific areas? What actions do I need to take so that I can shift from pawn to player in those super specific areas? And then step 4 is do it, obviously. If there's a step 4, right? Actually start making those shifts and taking those actions. So that's kind of the broad overview, folks. And if you don't do it that way, I promise you that it's just going to fall to pieces and you're building a house of cards. If you try to just sort of white knuckle your way forward and say, you know what, I'm just going to have those conversations with my boss. And, because maybe that's not the problem, right? Maybe you're already having great conversations with your boss. Or if you're on the job market, a lot of times people are like, man, I need more interviews. Gosh, I need to get more interviews. Okay, right. And you just jump right into step 4 and be like, all right, I'm going to do everything I can to get more interview offers. I can't tell you the number of times that we talk with people where getting interviews is not the problem. Getting plenty of interviews, right? There's something else that's the problem. And what happened there was that person skipped step 2, possibly skipped step 1 as well in terms of the, really having that rock solid belief. But they skipped step 2 in terms of, okay, where exactly am I acting like a pawn? Where it's preventing me from getting the outcome that I want, like in this case, a job, if you're on the job market. So people will kind of assume, well, I just need more interviews because that's the game, right? When you're on the job market. But honestly, for a lot of people, the problem is not getting interviews. The problem is the actual interview process, right? You're actually probably you may be going on too many interviews. You may need to up-level how you show up in interviews. Or the problem for some people is you don't even have clarity around the job that you want to start with. And that's where you're being a pawn in your career. Where it's just like, oh, whatever job, I'm good. It's another way that it shows up. Another way that it can show up is a negotiation. Here's a great example of being a pawn. I don't negotiate. I'm not comfortable with that. I try to negotiate. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work. So that's what we mean by really getting specific. So if you try to skip any of those steps, it's just going to fall to pieces, and you're building a house of cards, and you're moving forward with a lack of clarity, with a lack of confidence, and with a lack of knowing that what you're going to do is actually going to work. You're not going to have that confidence. So that's what it really takes, folks. And so if you want help building out this plan for yourself, like what exactly are those areas? Like maybe it's step 1 that you need a little bit of help with. We got you covered. I already told you, if you need some help building that confidence, building that certainty, building that belief that I am the player, I am the creator, then that's a reason to book a call with us. If you're also having trouble, like, okay, maybe you're like, okay, I could use some help, or I know I could use some help in the confidence building piece of it, but really what's just hard for me is focusing in on what are the specific areas where I am acting like a pawn. What are the specific areas for growth here? I don't know. There's a unconscious incompetence there where I don't know what I don't know. I want to see my blind spots. If that's the case, it's another reason to book a call with us, thepeoplestack.com/book. Maybe you got the first 2 mostly dialed in. Maybe there's some 2mm shifts, some 2mm calibrations that can happen in step 1 and step 2. But maybe it's step 3. Remember, step 3 is what's the exact strategy? Like I know for the most part my areas for growth and where I'm acting like pawn. I know what that is. But strategically, how do I shift? Like specifically, how do I do this? And that's where you're stuck. It's another reason to book a call with us. And another place where people get stuck is at step 4. You have the confidence. You know exactly where you're showing up as a pawn. You have at least a sense of what you need to do, but you get stuck at step 4. You're not doing it. For some reason, something is holding you back from doing it. The way this shows up, lots of different ways. I mentioned negotiation, right? You know intellectually that negotiation is important. You know intellectually that negotiation is something that if you don't do it and if you don't do it well, you're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. And yet you don't do it. That's getting stuck at step 4. Another example, you know intellectually that in order for people to know that you want a promotion, you have to tell them. They can't read your mind. They can't read your mind. You know intellectually it means about it's going to require a series of conversations with your boss, with other senior leaders, with other people, letting them know, hey, I'd love a promotion and I want to position myself for one. Can you help me with that? Like, you know intellectually that totally makes sense, totally logical, Spock. And yet you're not doing it. You're getting stuck at step 4. So if you're getting stuck in the action taking stage, that's another reason to book a call with us, thepeoplestack.com/book. So we're here to help folks. We don't want to see you stay stuck at any of those steps. So that's what we're here to do. And so when you book a call, it'll bring you thepeoplestack.com/book. It'll bring you to our calendar. Just find a time that works for you. We're here for you. This is what we do. It is our joy. It is our honor to talk with all of you and to help all of you and to help you transform your careers. So pick a time that works for you. It's super easy. There's a phrase that's going around the internet lately. It's super easy. It's barely an inconvenience. It's just funny. Rob and I are joking about that all the time now. It's barely an inconvenience, right? You just click and go online, right? You click on the button and it'll be in your calendar. It takes 2 seconds. You book the call and then you show up for the call. You show up and, honestly, if you want to prepare for the call, just come prepared with like where you're stuck, like what to at least in your mind right now, like exactly, or at least a general sense of, it doesn't need to be exactly, right? I don't want to like make it seem like it needs to be this big thing, right? If you know exactly where you're stuck, great. But if it's even just like this inkling, like, there's something that's not working in my career right now, I'm just not sure what it is. Don't worry, we got you covered. We heard it all. I stopped counting at like 500. We've done close to 1,000, probably I could almost say thousands of these calls at this point. We got you covered. It's our honor to do this. We want to help. We love to help. This is our mission. This is our purpose. Look, Rob and I get to live our purpose and we have achieved career transformation, right? We have gotten here and it's so wonderful. We want to give this gift to you. So we've gotten there. We've helped several hundred of our clients get there as well. So just go ahead and book a call. There's no reason to delay. ThoughtPeopleStack.com/book. And then on that call, we're going to talk about where are you stuck? What's not working? And really all you need to do is show up for that call ready to answer our questions, ready to be honest with yourself, and ready for some massive clarity and some massive value, because that's absolutely what you're going to get. So if that sounds good, then that's a reason to talk with us really soon. So that is it for the day, folks. The message, again, is how you switch from being a pawn to being a player. Number 1, believe that you can. Number 2, get super specific as possible about how you're being the pawn right now. Get honest with yourself. And then number 3, make those strategic shifts. How are you going to shift from being the pawn to being the player in those specific areas? Come up with the strategy. And then number 4, take action. Do it. I saw a thing, I shared it on Facebook lately as like a meme that's going around. So in 3 months, October, November, December, January, in 3 months, we started a new decade. It's January 2020 in 3 months, folks. A new decade starts in 3 months. I think you should do it. So that's it for the day. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Talk to you soon.